Welcome to Intro to Engineering Design with Mr. McDonald, and today we're going to continue working on our dice set project, specifically working on the D12 dice, which is a dodecahedron. So dodeca meaning 12-sided, and hedron just meaning equal side. So in this case it's an equal-sided pentagon. So this is essentially what it will look like when we're all said and done. So we're going to start, as always, with a new Part Studio tab. I'm going to hide the front and right planes, and we're just going to start with the top. So, as always, start with the sketch on the top. We're going to go with an inscribed polygon around the origin. And again, it was a pentagon, so 5-sided object. We're going to make it 1 inch on each side. And then, now that we've got it sketched, we're going to extrude it with a depth of 0.01 inch. If I rotate it, you can see it's a nice thin piece. And now I'm going to hide my top plane and my origin just to keep this nice and clean. So this one's going to be a little bit different than the rest of the dice. We're going to learn a couple of new tools, or a new tool and a new use for an existing tool. So now we're going to create copies of this component, attach it, transform it, and rotate it. So sounds a little confusing, so I'm just going to walk you through how to do this one at a time. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sketch. And I'm going to create a sketch on one of the lips or edges or faces of this pentagon. So right here on this small edge. I've got the sketch. I'm now going to create a line. And so this is going to be a line of, or a rotational axis, but it's a line. So I'm going to start by grabbing the midpoint of one of these faces. I'll know I'm in the right spot when I zoom in, and it gives me that little box. And I'll zoom out, and then I'll zoom into the far face. Again, as I go up and down the line, I've got 2 endpoints, and when I hit the middle, it gives me that box. It still wants to connect more lines, so I can either right-click and hit Escape, or I can actually just go up here and hit the green check mark on the sketch because I'm done with the sketch at this point. So you see I've got a nice little gray line right there down across that face. So now we're going to use a new tool for us in this class. We're going to transform. So you can see it's kind of got a rotate in the picture, but if we hover over it, it moves, rotates, copies, or scales apart. It's also done by either the mate connectors, by a line, distance, or even XYZ coordinates. So you can do a lot of different transforming of a part with this function. So we're going to click on the button. First thing it's asking us is what do we want to either transform or copy. So in this case we're actually doing both, and we're doing it with this whole shape. So we're just going to click on it. It says part 1, perfect. What we're going to do is we're going to rotate. It's asking us what axis are we rotating it about. That is this gray line we just created. Now, you wouldn't know this, but I've already looked this up, and the angle is 116.56505. So we're going to remember that because we're going to use this a bunch. We're also going to copy the part, so we end up with the base and then with the new part that is rotated. So now we'll hit the green check mark. We're going to zoom out just to show you what this has done. So this has added a new one of these pentagons at this 116.56505 angle. So now we're just going to continue and repeat this process as we go around the shape. So create the sketch, zoom in to make sure we get the lip, draw the line, Zoom in to make sure we get the midpoint on that side. Zoom in over here. Going to green check mark it. Then we're going to transform. What are we copying? The whole pentagon. We're going to rotate across that axis we just created. 116.56505. I'm actually going to copy that because I'm going to end up typing it a bunch. So I just Control C to copy it. Good. That one is now locked in place. Now we're just going to rinse and repeat. Sketch, line, zoom in. There's my line, escape. We're going to rotate. You hit the check mark first, Mr. McDonald, then transform. Entities to copy is that face. Rotate across that axis. We're going to paste in my angle. We're going to copy the part. There we go. Rinse and repeat. Sketch, face, line. Once you're done, transform, rotate, copy part. Alright, we're going to repeat again. Face, line. Oh, somehow I disconnected from that line. There we go. Escape. Green check mark. We go to transform. That shape. Rotate. Axis over that line. Repeat. Oh. So this will happen occasionally. Occasionally it'll rotate the wrong direction. So just double click on the transform. Hit the opposite direction. And now it's in the right place. Alright. So kind of like a cooking show, I'm going to jump ahead, but you would basically just repeat for all of these, sketching on each of these faces. It doesn't matter which one of these lips you grab here. I'll just do this one to show you that it works. Transform. That one. Rotate the axis, the line I just drew. The angle that I've copied. And so you'll notice it connected basically to two different places. So again, gonna move ahead in the recipe instead of drawing the last 5-6 circles. Once you get done, you get to that point, you'll be here. So you'll have all your shapes, they'll be all connected, but you'll notice they're kind of rough around the edges. They're all separate parts, so you'll have your 12 sides, again, dodecahedron, 12-sided. So two things you'll want to do here, just like before, you'll want to fillet all your sides. So fillet, you can click in the middle of each face. Once you've got them all, just kind of rotate around, make sure you're not missing any. There we go. Now if I was to leave this at 0.05 like we've been doing and double check, you'll notice it fillets a little too much and it leaves a gap. You can't boolean that because it's essentially 5 floating parts. So instead, we're going to drop our fillet a little bit. 0.02. Let's see. They're all connected. So let's try to Boolean this. So if I just draw a box over all of it by left clicking and drawing a box. And then if I click this one, which is a Boolean, looks like a Venn diagram, it performs a union, a subtraction, or an intersection on them, essentially just like a Venn diagram would. In this case, I'm trying to do a union, but you'll notice it gives me some red spaces here. So that didn't work. I'm going to go ahead and hit the green check mark, but I'm going to go back into fillet. I'm going to change this to 0.01. Hit my green check mark to make it a little bit better. You'll notice my Boolean's no longer red, and all my parts have now sucked up into one part. So there you go. I've got a perfect dodecahedron with filleted edges of 0.01 inches. So that way they still connect and can form a single part. So that is the entire filleted and Boolean dodecahedron, which is our D12 dice. So once you've got here, you're just doing like the rest of the dice. You're changing the color by adding appearance. You're editing, you're making sketches and putting your numbers and assigning materials to the dice. So we got you about 90% of the way there, getting you the general shape. So go ahead and keep plugging away on this. If you have any questions, come see me or drop a comment in the comment box and I'll get back to you. As far as my channel, go ahead and make sure you subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you get the latest updates and know when my next videos drop. Thanks all. Talk to y'all later.